Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Yoga for Classroom's Favorite Things. Today, we are talking about books for caregivers. So, these are resource books to help caregivers through different ages and stages of caregiving and parenting. So, we have a few we want to share with you that have been our favorites for quite some time. The first two we want to share are by Dr. Daniel Siegel, which, if you don't know about Dr. Dan Siegel, he is a gem. He's just a wealth of knowledge. He has a lot of good resources out there about our brains and how trauma impacts brain development. But his books are really for all situations, not just those who have experienced trauma. So, two of our favorites, one of my very favorites ever, is called The Whole Brained Child, again by Dr. Dan Siegel. This is broken up into 12 strategies. So, it's a pretty quick and easy read, but just a really good book that helps us understand brain science, understand how our kids' brains are working, and allows us to be able to be better caregivers and just better understand our children. So, Whole Brain Child, great book by Dr. Dan Siegel. Another one by Dan Siegel is called Brainstorm. This one is more about the teenage brain. And I am sure there are some of you out there with teenagers at home that think you'll never understand the teenage brain. But check this out. It will at least help you a little bit get some insight into that teenage brain. So that is Brainstorm. A couple of others that we love. This is a classic, Seven Habits of Highly Effective Families by Stephen R. Covey. Just a really great book that has been around for a while, but just a really great resource. I like a lot of Stephen Covey's other work as well, like The Leader in Me and some of those resources, but definitely recommend the Seven Habits of Highly Effective Families. And while we're talking numbers, we'll add 5 love languages of children to one of our favorite lists. Most of you are familiar with the love language books that are out there. Usually, we hear about the love languages with our romantic partners, but this one's about how you can apply the same idea to our children. I know that I did this with a book club one time with a group of caregivers, and they were amazed that they realized that their child's love language was different than theirs, but yet they were treating their child as if they had the same love language as them. So it can be really insightful to help us understand really what speaks to our kids and how we can show them love in the most effective way. Great one. Another pretty quick, easy read, but really helpful to get us on the same page as our kids. And then last, but certainly not least, is How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk. If you have ever felt like you're never going to be able to get your child to talk to you about anything, you might check this one out by Adele, Faber, and Elaine Mazlish. I believe that's how you pronounce it. They're two experts in the field. They have several other books as well. You might be familiar with the Siblings Without Rivalry books, same author. Another favorite of mine, but this one I really enjoy because it's just such a relevant and topic that seems like always is out there. I know that we've been dealing with this for quite some time. This is not a new book, and it's been a topic we've been worrying about for a long time. But as technology and other things advance, it just becomes even more important. Again, another reason I love this book, though, is because it was written prior to the technology and things we have today, but the ideas are still so relevant. And it really shows us that our phones and our technology and our tablets are not an excuse. We can still use the same techniques and the same strategies that have been effective for a long time to help have more effective relationships with the young people in our lives. So I hope that is helpful to you. Again, I'll show all of those real quick. How to Talk So Kids Will Listen, 5 love languages of children, 7 habits of highly effective families, Brainstorm, and Whole Brain Child. I'll link all of those below so that you can check them out and let me know what you think, or if you have any favorite book for caregivers. I would love to hear about your ideas as well. So let us know. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Yoga for Classrooms Favorite Things. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.